Hey everyone, welcome to Gamehounds. Sorry we're a little bit late, 6 minutes, sorry. But we're here. Gamehounds Happy Endings in the room. We have Holy Goalie and Nick DiNicola with me, Edie Sellers. If you ever want to find us, gamehounds.net is our website. This is our live show that we do after our regular recorded show. Our regular recorded show can be found on iTunes under Gamehounds. This is Gamehounds Happy Endings. So, I'm a little bit late because I was walking past Kevin's room. Kevin's my husband. And he was watching television and he was watching the news. And there was a story about this house that burned down because the guy had been oiling his deck or staining his deck and left the oily rags out next to the house, and they spontaneously combusted.
Oof.
And I was like, I thought that was an old wives' tale about oily rags. So we did a quick internet search and found out that oily rags, if you use linseed oil, which is like a big, when you stain furniture, linseed oil is usually one of the components of it, that if you use it on rags and you don't burn the rags immediately or not even dispose, just burn the rags, that if you leave them like literally overnight, because it dries by oxidation, which is another word for burning, it heats up, and if you have it like in rags all bunched up, that the heat gets enough so that it actually lights the rags on fire and the whole house burned down. And Kevin and I are like, wow, it's not an old wives' tale, and specifically it's linseed oil. So, not gaming related. This is a video games podcast, but that's why we're late, because we were looking up like, holy crap, this stuff does happen. Oily rags do spontaneously combust. It's very hard to make it happen on your own, but apparently enough houses have burned down because of oily rags that had linseed oil on them just burst into flames in the middle of the night. And usually in the middle of the night, because it's like you do it and then you put it aside, you stick it in your garage, and you just have the pile of oily rags or like a pair of sweatpants or an old bath towel. You stick it in the garage and you just leave it there because you're done with it. You're going to throw it away. Or you stick it in a garbage can filled with paper and stuff that you'd had used throughout the day, and then all of a sudden it poof goes into flames. Middle of the night, you have a house fire, the house burns down.
Wow.
Yeah. So if you have a deck, it's that time of year when you might stain your deck or oil your deck for the coming winter. If it is a linseed oil based stain or oil, get rid of your rags right away. We don't want anybody's houses burning down. So the
more you know.
The more you know. Ding, ding, ding. So, we just finished the show. We were talking about news. Grand Theft Auto. Goalie still officially now really doesn't like it.
Well,
Nick officially sort of likes it, not very much.
What I'm happy...
Well, I like it. I just admit that it's slow to the point of frustration.
Yeah.
Because... what was that mission that I did? I did this Simeon mission, and he always asks you to go repossess these cars. And so he sent me to repossess this one car. I go up to it. I see the guy inside, and so I hop out because, I want to go and pull him out of the car. But as I get closer, it's like I triggered the fight or flight mechanic in his AI, and he sped away. Like, just floored it. And I spent the next, 45 minutes to an hour chasing him across the map. And Edie and Chaos and, who else was in the party? They know that I was just sitting there going, this is fucking awful.
We know this mission. It's the one where you have to get the coquette. If you get the mission with the coquette, don't do it with one person. Nick, you did it with one person. It's almost impossible for one person. The only way that Chaos and I did it was we fucked it up a couple times and, he got away. And then we just realized we had to take two cars because we jump in the same car together. And you can't do it with one car. You need to have one car that goes behind him, one car goes in front of it, and block him in so that you can get one shot of getting him the very first time. Because if he gets away, you're fucked.
Well, the reason I got him is because he would literally, drive to the other side of the map and then just start driving in circles. And so that gave me a chance to catch up to him and would give me one chance to kind of catch up. And then I would just ram him. I'd ram him. I shot up the car and eventually I killed him. but like I was determined to finish that mission because I knew if I quit the game then, because of how slow it was paced and because of how bad that mission was, I was never going to come back to it.
Yeah.
So I did finish that mission. I did stick with it.
You were screaming the whole
time.
time. 45 minutes of Nick just swearing his head off.
There are good things about it, but man, it's hard to get through the shit.
Yeah.
I'm glad to know that because when we talked on the show, I was venting my frustrations again. And I'm really glad to know that this is not just a goalie thing, that you guys kind of feel that you guys have much more patience and you guys want to play this game more than me. But to know that my frustrations are justified and I'm not alone in, basically just giving up.
Right.
On this. It just ain't happening.
Your frustrations are justified. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's not just me. It's because, like I said, I've played other Rockstar games and I've liked them, and this one it's doing nothing for me. It just I hear all these great things, but where are like we talked on the show? It's like you go to this restaurant and hear about these great foods, and they hand you a luncheon menu with 5 things on it, and they say, "Well, here's what you can order right now," and you have to eat all this crap before we can give you the dinner menu. And it's just like, oh, man.
I think it might actually be a game that just like the way it's designed makes it review really, really well. Mm-hmm. Because the best thing to do in this game is to just do the story missions. Just get through those story missions because like those are kind of the most interesting things in the single player, at least what I think so far. Like, I kind of got distracted trying to play tennis and trying to explore and realizing there's not much to do here. But, if you're under the time constraints of a review, you're mainly concerned with getting through the story and seeing all that game has to say. And I think that is the best way to play it.
It could, because like all this stuff about golf and tennis and things like that. I went into one of the gun stores and went back to the shooting range. I couldn't shoot. And I'm like, I'm hearing all these friggin' unbelievable things in this open world, and I'm in the gun range and I can't shoot.
Yeah.
Even in Borderlands 2, you can get out in the gun range and shoot. I mean, there's no exploration at all. There's no stumbling on anything cool to do at all in this game. It opens up when it wants to open up, and you got to do things in a certain order, and it's in. Every mission starts with a 5 to 10 minute drive with a car across town. Yay. And like I say, when I drove to Michael's house to do a job, and I drove with the wrong character. So I had to go find Michael, hijack a car, and drive all the way back to his house a second time. There's too much of that.
Right.
And there's not enough fun. I mean, I've spent, 5 or 6 hours playing this game, and I can't tell you if I've had more than 15 minutes worth of fun. It's just been a lot of, like I say, I think it's almost like Lord of the Rings, where it's a 3-hour movie and they take the first hour just building characters and plots and nothing going on. It's like, ugh.
Yeah, I call it setting up the dominoes. Like you're setting up dominoes so that when you push it, they'll finally all go in a big cascade and it has some action. But the domino setting is really slow.
It doesn't. Yeah, it's slow. There's not enough to do to keep you interested in this game.
Right. And they, especially with the online, they put a lot of the best stuff behind so many firewalls of achievement, like putting the bounties on people and having access to bounty only really comes up after a certain amount of time. And it's a lot of work to get there. And then the heists, you can do the liquor store robberies, but you can't do any of the high-end heists like bank heists, which are when it gets, I'm anticipating it will get really fun. But you can only do that when you have a high-end apartment. And when we're talking about a luxury apartment, we're talking $200,000. Meanwhile, I can't get past $40,000 or $50,000 because invariably what will end up happening is either you'll start fucking around, or worse yet, you go into rooms and you die. And every time you die, if you are not in a job, you lose money. And I spent literally all day one day, playing all day from the moment I woke up until 1 o'clock in the morning. Granted, most of it was in single player, but when I played the multiplayer, we went out and it was like, all right, let's go make some money. We spent the whole night trying to make money, and then when chaos came in and we started like screwing around and dying, just having fun. But after, a half an hour, 45 minutes of just goofing around and doing really fun stuff, which is all you can do when you're at the lower levels. I think I'm like level 15. When you're at the lower levels, screwing around is really the only kind of fun you can have. I ended up spending the day, $10,000 less than when I started the day. And I had done a shit ton of jobs. Oh my God, a crap ton of money collecting. And I still ended up $10,000 down. So it's like you get one step forward and 2 steps back. 1 step forward, 2 steps back. And then you'll get one day that you get 2 steps forward, which is like awesome. But you still end up taking 1 step back. It's
also frustrating is that with the competitive stuff, it seems that if you don't win, you don't get any money at all.
Right.
You don't get any money. You don't get any reputation points, any job points. You don't get anything. And like I thought that we kind of moved past that with online games. Call of Duty gives you points
for
if you lose. Yeah, I want participation points. Spoil me.
Right. How hard is it to throw a little money at somebody who actually did something, because it doesn't reward you for actually participating in the game the way that they clearly intended you to participate. So then what do you do? It's like, well, do I want to spend half an hour in a room with a bunch of strangers that may or may not be good, going from room to room until I finally get a good room? And then I do this room, and then if I lose, I end up still being at less than 0. And then I have to buy more ammo and more armor at the beginning of every round. So I end up ultimately losing money just to participate.
Like if participation can get you into a downward spiral,
yes,
I don't think that's well designed.
You can go, theoretically, you can go broke by being a bad player. Because, or worse yet, being on a bad team and not finding a good team. Because it just costs you money to replenish your supplies. And something else that really bothers me is that they've put so much limits on passive mode. Because say that you end up earning a bunch of money in your, in by participating. You get lucky enough that you actually, get $8,000 or $10,000 at the end of playing all day in going to job after job after job. And then you get out and it dumps you out into an open room and a free play room, and somebody walks up and shoots you. You've lost the $10,000 because you didn't deposit it into your bank. So that you could end up just getting very unlucky, and that's by no fault of your own, getting very unlucky, being dumped into a room with strangers. Even though you're playing with friends, it doesn't dump you into the room with all your friends. It dumps you all into random rooms. So you're not even with your friends when you come back out.
It's really odd that they took this route with this game.
I think that they just didn't think it through enough.
Well, the more I hear about it, the less that I want to play. And I haven't had any fun playing this on or offline. And the more I hear about it, the more this is just not for me.
Yeah, and I was actually getting to the point of the passive mode. You can be in passive mode in these free roam rooms, which means that you can't be shot, they can't shoot you. But you can only do it as long as you're on foot and you pay $100, which is insulting. They make you pay money in order to go passive so that you can deposit your cash. That's just bad. Bad.
Kevin,
even on MMOs.
In the chat,
yeah.
In the chat, Kevin and Jaeger are talking about how there's the microtransactions, how you can pay for money. They say that that's why
they're being dicks about
this
it.
money system is like that. I disagree. Because I think like a good free-to-play model teases you with just enough, but doesn't give you enough to buy the things you want. Like a good free-to-play system keeps giving you things but the price of buying cool stuff is so high that the time investment required to get there normally is too high.
It keeps the carrot just out of reach.
Yeah.
Just like out of reach.
This doesn't have the carrot.
Yeah.
And so it's not properly incentivized. So even in like a pay-to-win, free-to-play model, I don't think it's very good.
Mm-hmm.
No, but again, you're paying for. Why do you need to pay more? You've already dropped 60 on this. Why do we need to pay more? If this is a free game, like Warframe's coming out for PS4. I played Warframe.
Well, I guess.
I mean, then if you want to upgrade and buy stuff, you really haven't paid anything in. So, but I mean, if I paid $60 for a game, I'm really not thinking I'm going to want to buy any more.
I think this is in part, and I don't know if this is for sure, but I have great suspicion that it's in part due to the playing card scenario that they have in Mass Effect 3 multiplayer. That they saw how much money people were paying on those microtransactions because people bought the shit out of those microtransactions. Me probably being in the top 10 of people that bought shit because I bought way too much stuff in that game. So I'm wondering if they saw those numbers, they wanted to add it, but the problem is that in the playing card feature, you still got a lot of stuff. You just didn't get the thing you really, 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 really wanted. So the carrot was there, and you were getting some stuff, but it wasn't the thing you really needed or you really wanted. It was just, like I said, just out of reach. And they just saw, okay, they're going to add microtransactions. People can buy money. I think that's the easiest way to do it. And then let's make it harder for them to actually get money in the game. That's disincentivizing us to play the game at all, much less buy more money from them. And on top of it, the transaction store, not available right now. Hasn't been since day one. You can't buy that money through the game.
Yeah.
Yep. So,
That's why,
and you were the one just said in the chat room, stimulus package will help. Yes, it will.
Yeah, I think that's the best thing they can do because the problem is the pacing, and they just throw money at it.
Yeah, the pacing and the economy.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Money solves everything.
Right. But then again, $500,000 can disappear very, very quickly. You can lose $50,000 or $60,000 in one, 2 or 3 hour, game of goofing around.
How can you lose that much?
Because that's how much it penalizes you when you die.
I didn't know this that much. You
add them up.
The thing is, you can use that money to make more money. You use that money to buy the high-end apartment to let you do the heist. It doesn't matter if it goes away, as long as you use that money to buy the access to the more advanced things, then it's like suddenly this game opens up.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what you need to do.
It's just so different than GTA 4. I mean, from what I remember, that was a blast.
GTA 4 was exactly the opposite. GTA 4's multiplayer they had a really good system, but they didn't have enough to do.
I forgot that had multiplayer.
Yeah, but it didn't have anything to do. So we made our own fun, which was fun because we would go in there and goof around and have races against each other. And if you died, you died. Hey, who cares? But it was fun. We would kind of make our own games within the games, like Capture the Flag or something like that. We would kind of have put our own rules in it. So it was a bit of sandbox in the way that it was working. We would find ways to entertain ourselves in multiplayer. And it was like, oh, if only they had these things in their multiplayer, that's really cool. But they kind of did that, but then they changed all the other rules to make it so limiting and restricting and frustrating for anything but the hardcore, I'm going to shoot the shit out of everybody who walks in here. I'm going to kill everything. It is essentially, they make a point of good sport, bad sport. We want good sport and reward good sports and disincentivize bad sports. But then the whole rules within the game, essentially the only way you can get ahead is being a bad sport. And then, of course, the things that are the most annoying and the most crippling to a new player are things they don't make a bad sport, like killing other people as soon as they come in, as soon as they warp in. Like if you wanted to make a ton of money, all you would have to do is go into a game and hang out in front of where Simeon, you may have not have gotten this yet, Nick, but Simeon will send you texts, just random texts that say, hey, I need one of these cars.
I did that, and I did do one of those. Those are like the best ways to do it.
Right.
Like M-Hawk was showing me after you left, like you could take any car and sell it. And so if you get the right car, you can sell it for like $6,000, which is more than I get from any mission at this point.
Right. But
and like selling cars and stuff,
that's really,
I think is
but you can only do it once an
best
hour.
way to do it.
Right. But that's,
yes, you
but
can
then,
only do it once an hour.
Then there's other stuff that Simeon will say to you, I am looking for this one of this list. So any car that's on this list, please pick it up, go get it resprayed, and deliver it to my garage on the docks. And you actually get more money for that than if you tried to sell the car. The thing is that it's always in the same place. Everybody's the same place in the game. If you wanted to make a lot of money and be a dick, all you have to do is post your ass outside of that warehouse. As soon as people reappear, shoot them and take their money. And it's not a bad sport to do that, which I consider it to be very bad sport, because you could kill them before they have the time to put themselves on, pay the $100 to put them on passive mode so that you have time to go deposit it into your account.
Yeah. It still sucks.
It's got problems.
It's tough, but I'm looking forward to getting more into it, and I'm looking forward to the story.
Yeah, I'm definitely enjoying. I'm still playing it. I enjoy it, but I enjoy it despite its issues.
All the issues I have with the online don't translate to the single player, because I think the story makes up. Like I think the single player kind of has the same pacing issues and the way it gates you, but the story makes up for that. Because I like these characters, I like seeing them interact with each other, and so just watching them makes up for the lack of explosive action.
Mm-hmm. Jaeger says steal that giant plane mission, gets 10,000 at least. I haven't hit that mission yet, I don't think.
Yeah, ditto.
Yeah, and the nice thing is that when you finish a mission in online, and it will dump you back out into the main, like a lobby, and you can choose to replay. So if you get a mission that's fairly easy and giving you 100 or not, there's one fairly early on that is really easy, pretty fast, and gives you $9,000. As long as you don't leave that game, you can sit and replay that mission and get quite a bit of money. But you have to get lucky. There's so many missions. The waiting of it is weird. There's so many missions. Like the Coquette one you did, I think, was $2,000. Mm-hmm. That is not a $2,000 mission. Meanwhile, you have $9,000 for ones that are actually fairly easy. And Pissboy in the chat room mentioned Top Fun. Top Fun is really fun.
Everyone needs to play.
Yeah, that's a it's, well, I don't know where it pops up. I know that I was invited to it last night. We have
I saw it on one of the after mission. After you complete a mission, it gives you like options of where else to go.
6 options, yeah.
Yeah, and that was one of them.
Yeah, and Top Fun is fun. It's you have two teams. One is runners; they're on motorcycles. The other are hunters that are trying to hunt them down, and they are in jet fighters with missiles and also with cannons, and that's crazy fun.
So I thought that was the one where you dogfight, because you said that there was a mission where, like, a death match with the jets.
There is a death match with the jets. I have heard. I've not played it.
That sounds fucking awesome.
Yeah.
I want to play that.
Yeah.
After playing with these jets.
Yeah, no, Top Fun is definitely the one I played last night, which is the hunters versus the runners. That's crazy fun because the chance it's so random whether you survive. It's hard to control the planes. It's really hard to shoot people. At the same time, it's also really challenging to drive the motorcycle without committing suicide. Because you
know what?
The best way to do it is to go off road, and to go off road, you can die in incredible ways.
Me, M Hawk, and Jay must have played that like 20 times. No one ever made it to the end. Like no runner ever made it to the end. But the runners probably won more often than lost because the people in planes would just crash.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think I ever made it to the end. I got close, but that's a game that it's really happenstance of whether you're going to survive it or not. Depending on how good if you get somebody who's a really good pilot, then it's pretty hard. I get Jay the game guru is really good at flying and really good at picking people out.
He was good, but he was chasing after this other guy. I didn't see it because I was on the other side of the map. I was a runner too, but I could hear him talking. This other guy was like driving under bridges and was like staying under the bridge and following the bridge as far as it could go. So eventually Jay had to like fly under the bridge and shoot him with a machine gun.
That's awesome.
He was very proud of it. But yeah, I think there are definitely ways to get around it.
Yeah.
To get around a good pilot.
Oh yeah,
like
there's
yeah.
Yeah.
Jump into the subway.
If you get the subway, you're. But then again, the subway doesn't lead to where you're going, so you have to be very. Knowledge of the city helps because you have to get to an endpoint, and it will keep giving. It will give you the breadcrumb trail to get there, but you don't necessarily want to take it because it's giving you the most direct route, and you don't necessarily want to take the most direct route because if you've got a good pilot, good hunter on you, you want to take a lot of twists and turns because he'll take you out with a missile like now.
Yeah.
And then of course as soon as I became a hunter, the first thing I did is I got the plane up and I was flying along and I hit the wrong button and I ejected myself from the plane. Fortunately, I had my parachute on, so I did land on the ground, but I ended up being the last hunter living because I was on the ground.
But you could also chase them down and kill them that way.
Exactly. You
don't have to stay in the plane.
Right, and that was the one that that we lost, but I only lost a little bit because I was chasing M Hawk, and he was the last runner, and I was the last hunter. And the only reason why I was the last hunter is because I didn't crash my plane. Oh, there's been some hilarious moments in that game. I'm not going to lie. In the online, there's been a lot of really funny moments.
Yeah. Yeah,
I had fun in 4. Man, I think that was the one that I got the fire truck and I went down the street and I was soaking people with the hose.
Yep.
I mean, that was fun.
Yeah.
I mean, silly. And then I would just take my sniper rifle and I start picking people off and then run from the cops. It was just stupid video game fun.
Yeah. And like that mission we did, Edie, with Chaos, where we had to get in the plane and land the plane.
Which one was that?
The first one that we did.
Yes. Yes.
And the first time I did it, I landed the plane. It was all good. And then all of a sudden, this rocket comes out of nowhere
and blows up
the plane. It's like, what are you... I was landed perfectly.
It was a beautiful landing. It was a gorgeous landing.
It's like the cooperative missions in GTA 5 are a lot like the multiplayer in Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, where it's great when you can get it all to work, but like Assassin's Creed, you spend a lot of time kind of sitting, waiting. Oh, is everyone in the same room? No, everyone's not in the same room. Okay, let's try to get in the same room. Oh, we're not in the same. Okay, let's start a new game. Let's invite people. Okay, we're all here. Let's go. Okay, now we can start.
Right. A lot of window dressing to get there.
Yeah.
Just not very related, but sort of related. Did you see the thing on Giant Bomb about what was it? It was consoles if they were Game of Thrones characters, or Game of Thrones characters if they were consoles?
No.
Oh, let's see. I'll bring it up. Come on, no. Consoles, Game of Thrones.
I will say I've been watching the Load All Last Souls videos on Giant Bomb where they play through Dark Souls. And every time I sit in front of the Xbox, I'm like, I kind of want to play GTA 5, but I kind of want to go back to Dark Souls. And it's like, I struggle not to go back to Dark Souls.
Okay, so this came off of Giant Bomb. It's a page of one of the Giant Bomb people, Gold Skulltilla. Anyone else's Twitter widget's broken. Anyway, it's Twitter widgets. But anyway, this is probably the nerdiest thing I've ever put together, but I couldn't let the vast stock of Game of Thrones facts that's been piling up as I make my way through the books go to waste. This is not conclusive. It's missing Rob and Caitlin specifically, but I couldn't think of a good console parallel for either. Also, it's supposed to be a joke, so there's that. All right, so Joffrey is the Wii U. Rules the land, but many see... No, Joffrey is the Wii.
Okay.
Rules the land, but many seek to defy him. Has broad reach, but not much respect. Sansa is
the king no one wanted.
The king no one wanted.
That's pretty good.
Sansa is a PS3. Bold and naive. Everyone thinks will love her because of her noble bloodline. Arya is the Genesis. A dark horse with a rebellious spirit proved that she can hang with the boys. Eddard is the Dreamcast. Head of a strong household killed off too soon, many claim unjustly. Jaime is the PS1. Brash and confident with the strength to back it up, dethroned previous ruler. Tyrion is the 3DS. Had a rough go at first, but gains power through cunning and persistence.
Okay. I thought they were going to make a short joke, like a small joke.
Peter Littlefinger is the Xbox One. True motivations unclear, purportedly powerful, will spy on you. Bran is the Game Boy. Can't do everything his big brothers can, but has other abilities that none of them have. Green dreams. Cersei is the Xbox 360. Orchestrated the greatest seas of power for her family in recent history. Loved and feared in equal measure.
True.
Jon is the Xbox. Powerful for his years, but also awkward and a bit clunky. Wears black like it's going out of style. Daenerys is the PS4. Descendant of once dominant dynasty, bent on returning to power, fan favorite. Sir Jorah is the Vita. Desperate for
wow, that's good.
Desperate for affection, best hope is to latch on to more respected up-and-comer. The White Walkers are the Wii U. Everyone has forgotten it exists except for a few weirdly obsessed folks. Stannis is the N64. Stubborn and traditionally minded. Decided to go it alone, but has little outside support. Heard from infrequently. Melisandre is the N64 expansion pack. Dons a red hood and empowers her liege. Not really sure how she does or what she does.
That works out shockingly well.
I'm telling you, this is a good list.
Yeah.
Tywin, Cersei's and Jaime's and Tyrion's dad, Tywin. PS2, powerful reputation with an enormous war chest, decimates all who faced him in combat. Sam is the GameCube, gets little credit for what he's good at, really into connectivity, but not a great communicator. And just got a couple. Actually, there's a ton more. But if you want to check this out, I don't want to read these all. There's some of them that are really, really, really funny.
No, keep going.
Really?
The chat room is really enjoying this. Yeah, they've all left.
Have they? Okay, sorry. Sorry.
That's good. We didn't want him anyways.
We're going to start talking about cricket now. So, you know.
How do you play cricket? I've never quite gotten that.
Scott had 3 centuries the other day. Unbelievable match over there. Then they took a break, halfway point. It was the best cricket match I've ever seen.
Do you know why those things take days to complete?
Yes.
Why?
Because they have so many frames. That
doesn't make any sense.
They play in frames, which are kind of like innings. They have a ton of frames, and the innings are very long.
Why?
Just that's the way it is. It's a gentleman's game to be played relaxing, in a very relaxed way. You stop for lunch, you stop for tea.
No wonder it never made in America. People are like, I want to win, motherfucker.
Yeah, exactly. They want to go, be in, and leave. No, this is a gentleman's game for people of leisure who have lots of time on their hands and don't have a problem with taking 3 days off for a game.
Clearly, gentleman is just another way to say lazy.
Yeah. It's old money that they don't have to work. So when they're not going riding, going on a hunt, or going up to the country, or going to town to stay in their townhouse in London, then they're playing cricket or watching cricket for 3 days. Golf clap. So, what else going on in your guys' life? What's interesting that you're playing or interesting that you found? Goalie, you've been like all over Diablo 3.
Yeah.
Any advice for those of us who have not hit hell mode?
Just keep playing. I was actually talking to Chaos's brother on the break today, between Happy Endings and a regular show. And I was telling him I started up a Barbarian, and I'm walking through normal mode because you got to play normal first before you get to hell and then all these other modes. And I said I had to put it on Master 3. I had to crank the difficulty way up just to keep it fair. And he says, well, after you play through it once, you just get really good at it. So I thought I hit a glitch. Mm-hmm. I thought I was in some kind of a glitch where I was getting all low-level enemies. He said, no, you're just getting good at it. But that's the great thing about it. You have, I want to say, 8 difficulty levels within each mode to play.
Yeah.
And so he's telling me once we get our character to level 60, it opens up these different things that they drop keys, and the keys open portals to go fight these battles that have 2 bosses. So the game just keeps on going. They just keep on giving you things to do, which is really cool. Now, I know I keep talking about it, but I'm all excited about it. This is the Left 4 Dead.
Yeah, this is why you can't play WoW. Don't play WoW. Don't play WoW.
No, I can't. I cannot do it because I know.
Now you know that it's like this, but just bigger and better.
Even Mrs. Goalie has been calling in sick.
No, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I woke up one morning there. She was playing Diablo. I go, what are you doing? She goes, oh, I didn't go into work today.
Yeah, this is how it starts, dude. This is exactly how it starts.
Now that was only one day, and then
right.
So, I mean,
it always starts with one day.
It's not like we're really blowing things off and the dogs are starving and the mail's piling up. I mean, but it is kind of funny. They're like, even yesterday she texted me. She's like, I can't wait to come home and play with my new sword that I just got.
Yep.
So
and let's not forget, World of Warcraft is made by the same company as Diablo. They know how to make addictive games.
Part of me really is now considering this Elder Scrolls Online for $15 a month. Oh, if it's anything like Diablo, because I'm playing so much of it, I might,
This boy says he didn't like WoW. I can't understand that. I can't understand that.
Kev was talking about Diablo 2 co-op. I'm interested in maybe going back and checking out Diablo 2.
I have heard nothing but people telling me Diablo 3 was better than Diablo 3. And that scares me.
I've played like an hour of it, but it's also clearly a game that was made in like mid-90s.
Oh, okay. Well,
like it looks like.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So if they had a Diablo 2 HD, we'd be in trouble.
Yeah, if they brought back another Diablo series, I would be. Yeah. Or if they had an expansion to it or something like that. But this really's got me peaked now for this Elder Scrolls Online. I'm gonna sit back and take a look at it because if that's something that I could play with friends or, Mrs. Goalie or whoever. I just love playing games with people on the same side, working with them. I'm a co-op guy, whatever. That's just what I enjoy. Mm-hmm. And when I finally find a game that does that to almost perfection, that's why I just play it to death. I really do. That's why we played those zombie modes to death, because that's something everybody works together. Everybody helps everybody.
Right.
And it was really fun, and everybody works together. And the best part of Diablo 3, which is, I really hope this is the direction for co-op games, is everybody gets their own loot. That is the best thing, okay? Because even in Borderlands 2, remember when you get done a battle and you go open a chest, it's first come, first serve.
Yeah.
And I had people that would go and grab all the good guns, need them or not, and they would race there before the battle was over. You'd be fighting a guy, and they'd run over and take all the guns. And really? And, oh, well, no, yeah, hey, you can have this one. No, thanks, So the best part of Diablo is that the loot drops differently for everybody. So if someone says, oh, hey, pick up this sword. Oh, I don't see a sword. It's not there for me. So everybody, except if you play, co-op on the same screen, obviously it's going to be the same. But over the internet, everybody's loot is different. Everybody, and if you have different things to beef up your gold, like you can have a plus 10 gold. So if I get 50 gold, you might get 100 gold. So even that's different. And you can trade, back and forth to give gold. Like for some reason, she's always running out of gold. So I go and I give her 20 or 30 grand in gold so she can go and, repair for the next 5 or 10 times. So I just, I have plenty of money on me. I don't know why I just do it. So I can give her money. I can give her, stuff in the game. It's co-op at its absolute best. There's no hoarding. There's no someone, pulling a nick and stealing all the good stuff.
Wait, what is that stealing a nick?
That's how you are.
I'm not a dirty.
Yeah, you are. You're totally. You are so totally. You are. You come in with like, hi, I'm Nick. I'm the nicest guy in the world. I'm here to help. And then you come into my games and you will shoot me in the head just as soon as you look at me. You're a dick. You're a total dick and thief.
He even doubles down with the dickness, because he'd be the type of guy to come into a game and he'd steal the good gun, right?
Right.
And he'd have it with his character. Then he'd trade in the game. So you couldn't even say, hey, can I come into your game and give it back to me?
No.
Well, I don't have the game anymore.
Yeah.
So it's basically dead. It's dead and buried.
And he holds a grudge. God, he'd come into Grand Theft Auto online and someone would just randomly shoot him, and I'm like, dude, that happened. He's like, fuck yeah, fuck that, I'm gonna hunt that motherfucker down. He wouldn't come into a game with us because he was too busy hunting down the guy who had shot him.
I didn't get my revenge, it's worth noting. Although there was one kind of funny moment. You were really going on about how, oh yeah, when you get into the free mode, people will kill you. It's super dangerous. So after we do a co-op mode, it puts us back into free mode, and we all kind of go back to different servers. Or at least that's what I thought, because that's what Edie said. So I load into the game. I turn around because there's a white dot behind me, which means there's another player. So I immediately turn around, shoot him as fast as I can, and only after he's dead do I realize that it was Creation Chaos. And I just shot the teammate.
Shot your friend.
Because you made me paranoid.
That was awesome. Yeah, that's one of those moments that make it all worthwhile. Oh shit, bam. Oh, I just killed Cass. Why did you do that? I thought you were standing behind me.
I thought you were someone else.
Oh yeah, that was awesome.
I thought you were Edie.
So, Piss Boy mentioned in the chat room that he has found a way that when you go in right now, the way it happens is if you are all, even if you're on the same server in your same game, if you go into a job and invite your friends into the job, when you go back into free mode, it actually splits you all up and sends you to random places. Piss Boy has said he has figured it out so everybody doesn't go into different places. So Hopefully, Piss Boy in the chat room explain to us how to keep people all together, because that is the biggest issue of not being able to control where you're sent to. So, want to
Some
put that out there.
voodoo magic.
It is. Seriously.
You have to sacrifice a chicken.
So, completely unrelated, odd news of the day. So, there's this guy named Donald E. Miller Jr. in Ohio. So, in 1994, he disappeared. In the 90s, he disappeared. And in 1994, his wife had him declared dead so that she could collect Social Security payments because he had not been heard from. He disappeared. Nobody knew where he was. Figured he'd been declared dead. So they declared him dead. Then a month ago, he shows up. He's alive. And he's trying to get a driver's license. He had just essentially decided to leave the area and went down to Florida and was kind of a drifter in Florida. And then now he's decided he wants to start a life and get a driver's license, but he's been declared legally dead. So he goes back to Ohio and goes to a judge and says, hey, by the way, I was declared legally dead. I can't get anything because my Social Security number has been deactivated. I'm not dead. Here I am. This is me. And the judge says, yeah, unfortunately, we can't reverse that decision because in Ohio, after you've been declared dead for 3 years, it cannot be reversed. So you are legally dead. And he's like, but I'm standing in front of you. It's like, yeah, but according to the law, you're dead. So he's a dead man walking. And there's nothing he can do.
That's kind of like it. Like up here, they're so strict with your license. Like if you go into a bar to get a drink or you go to buy liquor and your license is expired, sorry, we can't sell to you. Well, it says right there that I'm, 40 years old. Yeah, but your license is expired. So does that mean all of a sudden I'm not 40 years old anymore? Well, your license
regressed.
It's clearly you. This is your license, but it's not a legal document, so we can't accept it.
You can't be. This piece of paper determines if you are really you. If you are really like this guy here that's died and now he's alive. No, sorry, because we don't have a piece of paper saying who you are. We don't recognize.
Well, because of this little thing in the law, this little oddity in the law about how you can't reverse that, or that you have to have a legal driver's license, a valid driver's license. That means
what I would have done. Do you know what I would have done if I was that guy?
Huh.
And I wouldn't have done this. Okay, just so everybody's clear, I wouldn't have really done this. But okay, so I'm dead. I would have taken a gun and shot everybody.
Exactly, because they can't prosecute you because you're dead.
I'm gonna go, do all these bad things. I'm dead.
I don't exist. I don't have to pay taxes.
That's right. Don't take any from me. I'm just gonna go into stores and take what I want to do because I'm just gonna do? Shoot people I don't like. I'm gonna steal cars. I'm gonna play Grand Theft Auto in real life, except it's gonna be more exciting than me. And there's nothing you can do because you just said I'm dead. You can't.
I don't actually exist.
I don't exist. I'm a phantom. I'm a wraith. I'm a Christmas wreath. I'm dusty wind.
And what's scary is that the guy's wife, when he went to the court to have himself declared alive, she actually
drove him there.
No. She's the way she found out he was alive is that he went to go have lunch with a girlfriend, and he happened to have lunch in a park that was across the street from where the wife lived now with her new husband. And she walked out the door, and there's her dead ex-husband in the park having a picnic. And there's like, you're supposed to be dead. So yeah, he goes back.
How did he not know he was legally dead?
Because he moved from Ohio to Florida.
Oh, so he's legally alive in Florida.
No, because once he's declared legally dead in Ohio, then they unvalidate his Social Security number. So he was drifter. He wasn't actually paying money into his Social Security number and wasn't filing taxes or anything. So then when he came back and it's like, okay, I want a Social Security or want a driver's license, it's like, yeah, you're dead. So
it was a beautiful ceremony.
Yeah. But the wife went to court to actually object to him being declared alive. Because she had collected Social Security benefits based on him being dead, which means if he was alive, then she'd have to pay all those Social Security benefits back, which she can't afford.
No.
So
I guess he's either a congressman or a House Representative guy.
So she's like, he's not alive, clearly.
Clearly he's not alive. Okay, so...
That's when she takes out a gun and says, here, I'll solve everyone's problem. Just shoots him.
And what's worse is that the lawyer for the guy says that his client is not can't afford to appeal the decision, so he's going to have to stay legally dead.
That's society rules are so stupid.
Weird, exactly. That's what the guy. That's what the judge said. The judge's like, I've never seen anything like this. I've never heard of anything like this. This is weird. It's a total anomaly. We never expected. That's the law of unintended consequences.
Yeah.
We never expected this to happen.
You got to have some common sense in this world. Yep. You know what I mean? And you can't just say, sorry, the rule says you don't exist.
Yep.
You're not here. I don't even know who, I'm looking right through you. I mean, Jeepers creepers,
Piss Boy says, in order to keep everybody from being separated, you need to make a friends-only room. Everyone needs to join the room. You need to wait about 10 minutes to lock down the server. Then, when you go in and start a job, you will return all to the same friends-only room. So you have to wait until everybody's...
10 minutes. You got to send off an email, wait for confirmation, put in your Wii U code. Then you'll get an email.
Be declared dead. Be declared alive.
You put in your cell phone number to get a confirmation text. Once you get that, you plug that into the game. And
then press 1. Para español, prima dos.
For Nick, press 3. I mean,
that's
option. How simple it is. I'm glad Piss Boy figured it out because it's real simple to go and get into a friend-only game.
Okay, I'll be willing to try that, but that sounds kind of suspiciously, like something you see in a chain email.
Yeah, but so that just falls right. That's par for the course for this GTA 5 game, as far as I'm concerned. Waiting 10 minutes for anything to happen that's good.
Right. Like you dork around. And the thing is that you're waiting for those 10 minutes. Don't die. Don't die while you're waiting around. For God's sakes, because you'll lose money.
What if I want to kill you?
If you kill me, then you're losing me money. Or if you're in passive, then you can pay $100 to be in passive mode. And wait. But whatever you do, don't get, and that's the other thing, passive mode, don't get in a car. Once you're in a car, then your passive mode has been disabled. So you have to stay on foot and not attack anyone in passive mode.
What is the sense of being able to play the game if you can't get in a car and drive somewhere?
You can't. If you get in a car and drive somewhere, it's the equivalent of picking up a gun or shooting a gun.
I am so getting rid of this game.
You're so mad. I'm making you madder about it.
I ain't even gonna try it now. That is asinine. So you're at risk of being picked off at any time from anybody while you're trying to go play this game.
Yeah.
And you got to wait 10 minutes to get a friends room game going.
Well, you have to wait 10 minutes for it to lock in. So if you go into a job, then everybody won't be separated out and split up.
Yeah, this game is done. The more I hear about it, from what I've seen, it's bad. From what I'm hearing, it's badder.
I just wonder how much of this they're going to change, if they can change it in future patches. Because there's clearly stuff, like you say, law of unintended consequences. They had some ideas of how it would be played. And in reality, it's created kind of this incredibly dysfunctional game that's not much fun.
Yeah, I don't know what they were thinking when they did this.
Kevin in the chat room says, troll puppy eyes. But what if I want to kill you?
Yeah, what about my fun?
Me?
You not want me to enjoy myself?
You suck. You're just a bad person. Bad.
Let's play GTA Online.
No.
I won't kill you.
No.
I won't. I'll kill everyone else.
No.
First thing I'm going to do when the show's over, I'm going to delete the install from my hard drive.
Wow, you're actually rage like selling the game.
No, I rage quit already, but I actually went back to give it another try. If I want a game that I can just drive around town, that's the one. That's the perfect game just to drive around town if you just want to drive around and not do anything.
Well, no, because sure, you could drive around and be broke and just steal cars. Yeah, you could do that. Don't steal a car, because if you steal a car, even though which is another thing which I'm not sure if I like or not. that if you steal a car, it's a stolen car, like forever. Like in the old GTA, you steal a car, if the cops see you, you get away from the cops, then it's your car. In the new GTA, if you steal a car, it's not your car, because even sometime later, if you've got a stolen car, if the cops see you any time that you're driving that game, even after you've already gotten away, they will take up chase and pursue you. So you have to abandon the stolen car. Oh, and the high-end cars you can only get and keep in online which kind of makes sense, I guess. If you buy them, you have to purchase the online cars. I mean, the high-end cars. And you can't sell them, which sucks.
Yeah, that's dumb.
Yep. So, I'm not going to lie, there's a lot of problems with it, and I'm good.
And so I'm already putting up with it.
But I'm still enjoying it. You're really doing it as we speak.
Yep. Yeah, I'm texting the wife right now because her brother was like, "What's this whole thing about GTA? My 13 or 12-year-old kid wants to play it." I'm like, "Well," so the wife's like, "Give it to him." I'm not giving it to him. I'll sell it to him.
Right. Sweetie says, "I wonder if you lose passive mode in vehicles because the collision detection is too hard to determine when it comes to killing players and NPCs." Yeah, I think that's exactly what it is. That since you can't shoot a gun in passive mode, even if you're not shooting at anything, it's the equivalent of getting into a car is the equivalent of shooting a gun, because cars are considered weapons, and they are in that game.
Yeah.
But why couldn't they just put you in a room or a server with other passive people and no one can kill each other? You see what I'm saying?
Yes, and that's what I was going to bring it up earlier, either within the show or earlier than this, is that in other games where you've had multiplayer like this,
PvP, PvE,
right? You would have servers. You could just determine what the rules of the server was when you went in. Did you want to have it a PvP one where everybody can shoot everybody and there's no safe harbor, or do you want it to be PvE where nobody can really shoot anybody? Or they have PvEs will allow PvP play, but if you shoot somebody, then the other people can shoot you once you've broken that rule.
So maybe they can't do that because GTA 5 doesn't have dedicated servers?
Exactly. They didn't dedicate servers that create rules external to whatever you want to do, whether you want to pay to be passive. There's a lot of... I have this feeling that whoever kind of was writing down and kind of formulating how this online was going to work and how it was going to play didn't really put a whole lot of thought into the rules making, other than for one specific kind of player, and that's people that go in and kill each other. And they didn't ever consider what if you don't want to go in and kill each other? What if you don't want to live under the most reckless and brutal rules possible? What if you're not that good at crime? And that doesn't work. It only rewards those who are good at crime. Which is, I guess, understandable. Like you said, I think it was during the show, you got to give props to Rockstar, is that they have their idea of what this game is going to be, and fuck you, this is what we're doing. This is how we see it. But not crazy about parts of it. But then again, I've kind of found ways to work around it and kind of dealing with the kind of liking it despite its issues and finding ways around its issues to keep me from having to worry about this stuff.
Yeah, it's too much work.
It is a lot of work.
It's
a lot of work to enjoy this game.
A drop of fun out of this game. And you guys have had some fun, and I've listened to your stories and a whole bit, but just hearing what you got to deal with and things that you got to do,
Yeah, it ain't easy. And I'm not going to get rid of it because I really am liking the single player. Really am liking it. And it's getting better. Even as I go along, it's getting better. The more
I think I'm going to wait for this.
The better it is.
Yeah.
You said you were going to wait
for it.
What were you going to say?
I was going to say I was going to wait for the stimulus package to get back into online.
Yeah, I'm still probably going to kick into online every once in a while. But it's funny. It was probably 3 or 4 days ago, maybe 5, that Chaos and I played for a little bit online, and Creation Chaos gets mentioned all the time because he plays it all the time. He's always on. So everybody plays with him. But he said at the end of the night, "You want to play something that actually, let's try something different," because it was a particularly frustrating night. It was before they did the first patch, so it was super buggy. And he said, "Let's play something else. Let's play Mass Effect 3." And I got back into Mass Effect 3 multiplayer, and I was reminded how fun it is to have an easy game to play. That you didn't have any question of, is this going to work? Is this not going to work? Am I going to get kicked out of this room? What's going to happen to me? Are other players going to kill me? Because it was 100%, it's 100% co-op. I was like, oh, this is so relaxing to just be able to put your feet back and sit down and play a game and know it's going to play.
You know, I just remembered what I played. I only played for like a half hour. I played the Battlefield 4 beta.
Oh, I have yet to download it. How is it?
It's fun. It's Battlefield 4.
Yeah?
Like, granted, I only played it for like a half hour, so I didn't get a whole lot. But of the few things they changed how you mark other players.
Uh-huh.
Instead of using the back button or the select button,
right,
you use one of the bumpers. I forget which one.
Good.
But that's a lot better because you no longer have to take your finger off of the control stick to mark people.
Right.
And that's pretty great. The UI for like selecting weapons and stuff is way, way better than it was in Battlefield 3. Because I hated the UI of Battlefield 3. Like, that was probably one of the single biggest frustrations that I had with that game. It's just I could not navigate it. I couldn't tell what things were. I hated it. So this is definitely a step up. And then I think they changed how you get out of vehicles. Some weird things change.
Yeah.
Because I always thought it was B, but maybe it's just helicopters. Because at one point I hopped in a helicopter. I was a passenger. It flew up. It flew over, one of the flags we were supposed to take. And I pushed B to jump out. And nothing happened. I pushed again and nothing happened. And I held it down and nothing happened. I thought, well, shit. So then I just started pushing buttons on the controller. And it switched like from passenger seat to the back gunner seat to passenger seat, the other gunner seat, pushing all these buttons, thinking, what the hell do I do? And I pushed X and I reloaded. And then I held X. And I bailed out of the helicopter. And thank God I was over water. But, so, yeah, I guess you hold X to bail.
Uh-huh.
Which is weird, because that's not very intuitive, because X is reload.
Right.
So I would never thought to associate reload with getting out of a vehicle.
There you go.
Other than that, I mean, it was pretty cool. It was Battlefield. I like the elevation aspect. Like, you can hop into these elevators, go to the top of a building, fight these snipers, become a sniper. Made me realize it's been a long, long time since I played a military shooter.
Yeah. I miss the nights that we used to play Battlefield. I miss the days of Bad Company.
Bad Company was it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why did they not do Bad Company 2? I mean 3.
I don't know.
It's like they dropped that. And the same with 1946.
Yeah. Yeah,
they didn't even
too.
release an expansion pack on the same one, and that was a great game. And it's like they throw these ideas out there, and then they don't go any farther. I don't understand them. That you've got every other developer in the world that all they do is just beat a title into the ground, and then you've got they've got DICE, who've got tremendous titles that never even began to expand them, much less do a sequel that should have had. It's like as soon as it got something got successful, they got distracted. It's like dealing with somebody with like really bad ADD that has lots of great ideas but never actually gets. They've got one idea that they keep pounding every year, but it's not their best idea.
Yeah.
I don't think the Battlefield series is their best game. I think the Bad Company series is their best.
Yeah, I agree.
And they stood to make so much money on 1946. Is it 46 or 48? 46.
See, I have no idea.
Yeah, whatever. You know which one I want. The
I think
Xbox
45?
Live. Was it 45? Whichever. Yes, that one. They had the possibility of making a ton of money on that.
Yeah, like just putting out new maps for that.
A new
That would be
map.
great.
A single new map. Everybody would have bought it because by the time that we finished playing it, it was, despite its bugs, it was broken. Oh my God, that game was broken. And
Really?
It's still
No, it
fun.
wasn't.
It wasn't horribly broken at the end, but people still play that game online despite it being broken now, and it is broke
It's
as
not broken though.
It's broke as fuck.
No,
There's
it's
so
not. It's
many things that
perfectly
are
playable.
No, it's not.
If it was broken, we wouldn't have put so many hours into it.
Right, but if you played it right now, it's perfect. It's not perfectly playable. I will double dog dare you to play that game with me this weekend.
Okay, Battlefield 1940 something.
Yes.
That was okay.
Okay.
I didn't mind that one. That was okay.
Battlefield 1940-ish.
Yeah, that was the one
Yeah.
you downloaded, right?
All right, yes.
Yeah.
Xbox Live Gold. Xbox Live Marketplace. Yeah.
I
It's a
liked
great
the Bad
game.
Company. I didn't like 3. I did like the Bad Company 2.
1943. Battlefield 1943.
Okay.
Jaeger says, "You thankless Americans." Leave it to the Canadians to remind us of our history. Thanks. Well, that's why we have you around. You're like the smart person that we cheat off of in class. That's why we keep you as a friend. So we can get the answers to the tests. Canada, psst, what's your answer for 47?
Hockey puck. That's what I had.
Wow, thanks. I was just confirming I had it right. Thanks. No, I knew that. Yeah, so we should probably get out of here. We've been going for an hour. Anything in the chat room that you guys want to talk about? I'll throw that open to you for the next few minutes. Golly.
Crossplay for some.
Oh, did you? That's right. Did you hear about Wii U?
No,
This
I didn't.
weird story that everybody's kind of wondering about. That doesn't. It's like, this sort of doesn't make sense. That Nintendo is apparently looking at trying to make Wii U having cross-console support. And they're trying to talk to Sony to see if some of the games that have online that also released for the Wii U as well as the PS4 will allow gameplay between the PS4 and the Wii U. Exactly.
That's crazy.
Weird. It's not crazy. It's not a bad idea, but it's weird.
No, I think it's kind of crazy. Crazy that they would do something like that, like to relax the policies to that degree.
Yeah, I'm looking it up right here because I just kind of saw it very basically on, I think it was either Joystick or I think it was Kotaku. Wii U cross console. Okay. I'm looking at developonline.net, an article that says Nintendo allowing cross-platform play on Wii U claims Ripstone. Nintendo is allowing cross-platform multiplayer on Wii U and 3DS to other consoles and devices, claims publisher Ripstone's creative director. Speaking to Eurogamer, Phil Gaskell said Nintendo had given the green light for the company to implement cross-platform play in its upcoming Pure Chess and Knit Underground games with console players and smartphone users. Ripstone is still talking to the likes of Sony. Oh, it's Ripstone that's talking to him. About, however, on whether developers on the PS4 and Vita would be able to do the same, but Gaskell believes the firm will not have any issues with it. They're changing their policies on the technical side a lot swifter, he said. We're launching Pure Chess and Knit Underground later this year, and on Pure Chess, we asked whether we could do cross-platform multiplayer, expecting it to be a typical closed console platform I've been used to working with for 20 years. Within a couple of days, they said, yep, no problem. You can have other console players playing against Wii U players. You can have smartphone players play against them, no problem. We're still talking to Sony about them relaxing their policies, but we don't think we'll have any issues with it. So when we launch Pure Chess, you'll be able to play against Wii U, 3DS, iOS, and Android players. When we patch PlayStation, those consoles will be added to the mix as well. In the past, console manufacturers have been criticized for offering closed systems and heavy restrictions on digital content, including large update fees. Sony, Microsoft, Nintendo appear to set to change this perception somewhat with the next generation of more connected consoles. Microsoft has already waived update fees for the Xbox 360, and Sony has worked closely with companies like CCP to ensure free-to-play and MMO titles can successfully run on a console. Develop has contacted Nintendo for clarification on its policies for cross-platform play. So it's slightly different from the story that I had thought I'd read, but still.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. See, okay, now it
Can't
doesn't
complain.
seem so weird, but yeah, it's if they do this more, especially with so many titles having online perpetual worlds, like say, for example, The Crew, or what was the other
The
one?
Crew's not coming out for Wii U.
Oh, that's right. What was it?
Watch Dogs?
Not Watch Dogs.
That's not perpetual.
What's another one that has a perpetual online that we were talking about? The Division.
The Division?
Yeah.
That's not coming out for Wii U.
Oh, interesting.
Remember, Wii U is essentially a last generation game. It's an Xbox 360, PlayStation 3 generation game.
Yep.
Generation console.
Yeah. So, but it has definitely some interesting prospects.
Great for indie games, like multiplayer indie games.
Yeah, really good for multiplayer indie games like this. Like, how awesome would it be to have a chess match that I could play with everybody who's playing this game, sitting on my phone on a BART train going to work. That's kind of cool. So, Jaeger wants to know why I think he's Canadian. I think you're Canadian because you know shit. Clearly, Americans do not. So it looks like my chat room has died. So, well, all right. So let me go. Is there anything, since I can't see the chat room, it's stopped updating for me. Is there anything that you're seeing in the chat room that people want us to discuss before we head out?
Yeah, nothing. That we wouldn't hang out in a minute or two.
Mm-hmm.
Just Watch Dogs, but we talked about that on the podcast.
Yeah, Watch Dogs delayed until. If you see the messages about it being in fiscal Q2 of fiscal year 2013 or 2015, don't worry, that's fiscal. It means that it's going to be from July to September 2014. That's the Q2 of fiscal 2015. Make sense? So it's going to be delayed like 6 months. And if you, here's something that you might need, because I know a lot of you have pre-ordered PlayStation 4s. If you've pre-ordered the Watch Dogs bundles, the launch bundle for the PlayStation 4, it depends on your retailer. If you did it through GameStop, GameStop's giving a choice. If you want the console when it launches, they'll give you the console and then you can get the game when it releases. If you don't want, for some reason, the console when it launches, then they will hold on to the console for you. They'll just keep it and give it to you, both of them, when the game releases. So it's up to you. Amazon has already said that regardless what you want, they're going to send you the console on the release date or the date that they have it, and then they will send you the game when it releases. You don't have a choice with Amazon. So if you have anybody else, well, either way, you should contact your retailer that you purchased your Watch Dog PS4 bundle from to make sure what their rules are and make sure that they know what you want if there's a choice. But yeah, so that's a weird situation to have a game that's was bundled for a launch of a console be delayed. Weird.
That is really weird.
Does not, but then again, Ubi's in trouble. Ubi's got issues, man. Ubi's always had issues, dude. They are underperformed by $500 million this year.
That's because they delayed at the games.
Yeah, but they also didn't sell like they should have with Splinter Cell Blacklist, like they predicted with Splinter Cell Blacklist and with Rayman Legends. And I don't have the exact numbers because it didn't come out, and Ubisoft's press site is kind of borked at the moment. But they're kind of getting in the same situation where Square Enix was, where they're
Not really, 'cause they
overestimating
still
their
have-
sales.
Well, that's the assumption, but I don't
They
know.
are.
I feel Ubisoft. Well, okay, everyone always overestimates the sales. The only thing that made Square Enix unique is that it was just such a gallingly obvious one.
True.
But it's something everyone does. And the thing is, Ubisoft's a much bigger business than Square Enix, and they've had a lot more successes than Square Enix has.
That
So
is
they're
very
not
true.
really in
They're not as much.
financial risk.
No, they're not at financial risk, but it does bring into question the safety of the company.
Not really.
Yeah,
I'd
it
still
does.
invest
These
in
are the
them.
these are the mistakes. Really, you would?
Yes, Ubisoft? Like the third biggest publisher in the industry.
But why would you put money behind a company that's not able to accurately predict its sales?
Because they still make a lot of sales.
But if they're not predicting it properly, it means that there's a question of their fiscal management if they're over predicting and under producing.
Yeah, I'd still like to see what the numbers are.
Yeah.
To see exactly how you come to that determination so soon after the game's released.
We'll see. All right. Well, let's get out of here. Is it that time? What is that? I've heard that
I don't know,
twice.
what's that?
Oh,
was
that comes through? Oh, I'm sorry. That was just, it's like a volume control on my computer. I didn't know you guys could hear that.
Yeah, all of a sudden it's like, boing! What? Boing!
I gotta stop watching porn while we do these.
That's
freaks.
what I thought. Are you on YouTube? Are you watching porn? Come on.
I was actually just watching a quick game trailer, and I tried to turn down the volume.
right.
I was actually researching PS4 launch titles to figure out what the heck I'm gonna play.
Well, we'll find out.
Everything keeps getting delayed.
Well, it's just those two, Gully. The sky is falling. Oh my God, the sky is falling. I suggest you not get a PS2. PS4. I think PS4 is a bad idea.
You think like a GTA 5 and PS4? Will I like it better?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I
that
think
should
you
that
will.
should be your launch title.
Maybe it's the frame rate that's the issue. Maybe it's not all the boredom. Maybe it's just
Yeah.
the
The
graphics
frame
not as good.
Yeah.
Maybe if
and
I
the
could drive around.
resolution.
Oh, there it is again. Maybe if I could drive around town with better graphics.
You need to
If
get
I
a
could
bigger
have
TV
better
too.
graphics doing nothing, that would be the awesomest game.
Ever. All right, let's close this out. You have been listening to Game Hounds Happy Endings, episode 25. I've been Edie Sellers. With me has been Holy Goalie, Nick DiNicola, and the poing of Goalie doing something in the back room. Jesus Christ.
I'm going to play some Diablo.
All right, ways to get a hold of us. Gamehounds.net is our website. You can always find the most recent happy endings on that front page as soon as we're finished recording them. If you ever want to join us live, if you're not already here in our rooms, you could join us at noon on Wednesdays, every Wednesday. That's Pacific time, noon, or Eastern time, 3. And you can be part of our chat room and actually let us know what you're thinking when you're thinking it. You can go to our email. It's gamehounds@gmail.com. You can also go to our Facebook page, gamehounds@facebook.com. Facebook.com/the Gamehounds. And what's the last thing? Oh, our voicemail and our text line. Our voicemail and text line are now combined, so you can leave a voicemail or text. And that number is
304-300-9889.
And if you're listening to this on Spreaker, please go over and check our regular show, Game Hounds. You can find it on iTunes or at gamehounds.net, but you can subscribe to it on iTunes. That's our pre-recorded show. It actually is not quite so lengthy and weird as it is in this show. And you can find that on iTunes under Game Hounds. This is all, and if you ever want to subscribe to this on iTunes, Game Hounds Happy Endings. Everybody in the chat room, I would love to name you, but unfortunately my chat room screen has frozen. So you know who you are. Thank you once again for joining us, even all the way. Tor, I saw Tor from Norway was out there, and I'm going to be on Xbox in just a few minutes. So we will talk to you later. Bye. Shut up. God!
I can't help it.
Goalie.